If you want to learn Python for data science and data analytics, then you are at the right place. In this course, I will teach you everything one must know to start the programming in Python. We will start with the basic and we will gradually move toward the advanced concept. We will learn how to do a basic programming in Python, how to do data visualization, and how to find the business insight from the data provided. You can download the relevant material from the link below, and I have also provided the Python program for your practice. In the later part of the course, we will do a small project and we will be doing an extrapolatory data analysis on a sample data set. And thereafter, we'll prepare a PPT which we usually present to the business user. So let us start right away. Welcome to the course Python for Data Analysis and Visualization, where you will learn the language of data and come up with the actionable insights by doing the data analysis and visualization. Who this course is for anyone seeking to learn Python programming and who want to make a career in the field of data science or data engineering. By the end of this course, you will be able to do Python programming, analyze the data, visualize and come up with the business insights, and probably apply for the best job in the world. So why one should learn Python? It is because it is the highest in demand skill today. If you see the trend, Python is right on the top. Its syntax are very simple and is very developer friendly. Some of the typical applications of Python are in fraud detection, machine learning, artificial intelligence, mobile application, data analysis and visualization. Following is the work distribution for a typical data science project. If you see, our data scientists spend around 60% of the time in cleaning and organizing the data and another 90% of the time in collecting the data sets. By the end of the course, you will be able to professionally visualize and analyze any kind of data sets. You will be able to plot such kind of graph. In this course, we will cover the following. We will start with the Python basic programming and then we will go through the concept of NumPy and Pandas, which are the most important libraries in the arsenal of a data scientist. And then we will do some extrapolatory data analysis by doing data extraction, data cleaning and visualization. In entire course duration, we will go through a typical market data set, Melbourne real estate data and car price data. How to go about the course and make the best use of it. Prepare the schedule for yourself to complete the entire course. Spend 1 hour watching the lecture every day and another 1 hour practicing the code. Remember that practicing the code will make you a proficient programmer. You can download the code which I have attached with every session and you can upload in your Python console. It is recommended that to write the code along with the lecture session so that you can build up your concept easily. And if you get any error or you need any help on the code, you can always refer to the vast resources available on the website. Example, Stack Overflow. And of course, for any clarification, you can always contact me by email or you can post your queries on the chat. With this, you should be able to complete the entire course in 10 days. Let us now start the process of installing Anaconda. Before that, let us go to My Computer, Properties. Just right click and go to the Properties and note down the bit size of your system, operating system. So here my operating system is Windows and it is 64-bit operating system. Now let us go to the your favorite browser and type anaconda.org. Then here click on the download Anaconda on the top right. So click here, download Anaconda. it will open another web page. Scroll down and then click download. So here, based on your operating system and the bit size, select the installer. So here I am selecting 64-bit graphical installer since my operating system is Windows and it is 64-bit. As soon as you click, it will start downloading. So it will take about 1 to 2 minute time depending on the internet speed. So I will do fast forwarding. So here my installation is about to complete. You can also refer to the document where I have mentioned the step-by-step process of Anaconda installation. So once the download has been completed, you just click open it. So here, click on the next. Accept the license agreement. Install for just me. And here in the destination folder, you can change it. Since in my folder I already have Anaconda 3, I will just change the folder name. So for your case, if you want, you can change it, otherwise you can leave as it is. Since I already have Anaconda 3 already installed in my system, I'll make another folder. So Anaconda tutorial. Click OK. Next. So this is an important step. You have to choose both of the options. So I will select both and click on the install. So it will take around 10 to 15 minute time to complete the installation here, because this is a big file and it will install all the beautiful libraries which Python has given to us. So I will do fast forwarding. So here my installation is complete. Click on the next. Click on the next here. And then finish it. So our Anaconda has been installed. Now to open the Anaconda, to start the Anaconda, you have to go to the start path and type Anaconda and then click open. You can choose remind me later on. So there are some environment for Python, JupyterLab, Jupyter Notebook, then Qt console, Spider, then we also have a RStudio for R programming. So in our entire session, we will be working on JupyterLab. So click on the launch. So it will open on a web browser. So at this point, it will ask for the option for the web browser. So select on the Python. So here, if you see on the top left, this Python is running on the desktop and it will display all the folder on the desktop. So here you can choose any one of the folders. So here I am choosing Python training on the desktop folder. So here this is my cell where you can write the Python code. So I'm writing my first program, print first line of code. Execute it. The other way to execute is Control plus Enter. Execute. So now, we can say that our Anaconda installation is successful. Here you can change the name of the file. This is my first program. Rename it, click and save it. So now I will start writing the first line of code for Python. We will start with some basic Python programming, which will be very basic. So let's start. Print hello Python. This is my first line of code. Now things to remember on the Jupyter Notebook is that this cell is actually a executable area. So here you will write the piece of code. Now to execute this, You can use the shortcut key, which is Ctrl plus Enter, or you can click the play button, but it's recommended to use Ctrl plus Enter. So Ctrl plus Enter. So hello, this is now this area will give the output of the code. Now to go to the next line where you can write the code, click plus here. Print hello. This is first line. This is second line. Let's see the output here. Ctrl plus Enter. So now this special character /n, it will give the result on the second line. Let's put another /n. This is third line. Okay, so this is the output. Now if you see here, the first line is hello, this is the first line, and this is the second line. On the second line you see there is a space on the front. Same way on the third line you see there is a space on the front. It is because here we are having space, and here also we are having a space. Just remove it and let us see the output again. So space are removed. Let's say a is equal to 5 and b equal to 6. So what does it mean here is that a and b act as a temporary memory variable for Python. It means that the value 5 is residing in the variable a and the value 6 residing in the variable b. So this a and b can be used in this session anywhere in the program. So let me show you how to use it. So let us execute first here, control and then print a plus b. So 11. Print a minus b, which is -1. You can also assign, you can also do some mathematical operation like this: a plus b, d equal to a into b. So let us print one by one. Print c, print d. So if you see the value of c, which is a plus b, 5 plus 6 is 11, and print d, which is a into b, 5 into 6 is 30. So likewise you can do multiplication, division, mode, etc. Let's say a plus equal to 1 and b minus equal to 2. Let us see the print now. Print a, print b. So what is my current value of a till here? My current value of a is 5. Now with this assignment a plus 1, we are adding 5 plus 1. We are adding 1 to 5, which is 6, and b minus equal to 2. It means we are subtracting 2 from the variable b. So let us see the output now. Control Enter. The 6, 4. Let us now do some logical operation. Logical operation. Remember that if you want to put the comments, if you want to write the comments, you can make the use of hash. And also you can have it in a markdown like this. You can just change this cell into markdown mode. Change into markdown mode and then execute it. So you can see your comment is getting displayed as an output. Now this is quite big. If you want to change the font, make the use of hash. Let me add another 3 hash. So the font size has been decreased. So I just add the cell here. Okay. So logical operation mean, can you tell me first of all which it is true or false? 4 is greater than 3. So this is true. And is this true or false? This is also true. And is this true or false? So this is false. So likewise, let us see what does the Python says about it. So I will put the print against each. Print. So here also let's see print. Here also let's see print. So true, true, false. Remember that in the standard Boolean operation. Let's write standard Boolean operation here. True and true. It will give you true. Print true and false. What does it will give you? True and false? It will give you false. And print true or false. So what does true or false will give you? It will give you true. Let us now play with some string. We will do some string operations. String operations. So I am changing into markdown. Control enter. So let me define a variable as str equal to I am Python. Now I want my output to be in uppercase. So for the output to be in uppercase, you can make the use of upper. So this is upper is the inbuilt function which will convert the string into uppercase. So you can see the output here. I am Python. Similarly, to make the uppercase into lowercase, you can make the use of lowercase function. So let's say string 2. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to assign string 2 like this, upper, and then I'm going to print str2 as lower. Let's see the output. So my output is all in the lower case. So what happened here? For initially we have assigned I am a Python, then I'm printing in uppercase str1 dot upper. Also I'm assigning to another variable which is str2 with the uppercase of I am Python, and finally I'm printing str2 dot lower. Okay, some string, let's say I am Python. Another string. So I'm defining two new variables. I am Python. So what is the difference between the two? In the first sentence we are having a space in the front portion. In the second sentence we are having a space at the right side of the string. Now for any programming language, the space plays a very important role. It may alter the actual output of the data. That is why handling space is very important. I'll just execute it. Okay, now I want to remove the space from the left side of the string. So for removing the space, Python has given us a function known as lstrip to remove the space from the left side of the string, and rstrip to remove the space from the right side of the string. Let us see some str lstrip. See the output here. So my space has been removed. Print some str from the right side of the string. So rstrip remove the space from the right side of the string. So my variable is another str. Just copy here and see the output. You are not able to see the difference here. So let me print the original variables, which is some str. See the output now. So I am Python. So there's space here. Likewise, I can print the second one just to see the difference. Oh, we cannot see the difference here because we cannot find the space here. Let's say I am having a string with a special character like this, special str I am Python %. Now if you want to remove %, how you can remove? You can simply mention print special str. You can put rstrip, since the special character is on the right side. Then you can mention the name of the character which you want to remove. So I am Python, so it has been removed. But note that suppose if you want to remove two special character, special str r strip and n percentage. So I am Python. Let me copy this one and let's put the space on the front and back. Then how you can remove this one? We can also remove this one, as Python is very powerful programming language. So you can mention here strip function, so it will remove the front and back portion. So let me print the original string here, some str, so you can know the difference. If you see my second print, there is a space in the front and there is a space in the back. Obviously you cannot see the space at the back. Let's say I'm having a string num and str, something like this. Then we have 5 star 4 5 6, and this is a special character like hash. So the way to remove is this one. Just put num str, then r strip. I want to remove from the right side, I want to remove the hash, and then from the left side I want to remove star. So just mention the special character here. Let's see the print 4 5 6. It has been. Let us now go through an important concept, which is the indexing. Let's say suppose I'm having a string which is called as apple. So in a Python it is stored as A, P, P, L, E, and for each character there is an address associated. So this is called as index. So the very first character will have the index position as 0, the second will have 1, third. Suppose you want to access one of the character of the string apple, then the way to do is as follow. So let's see. I define a variable as well, and it is having a string as apple. Now I want to select the second character of the apple. So how I can do? I'll mention the variable here, square bracket, and then you have to mention the position of the second character. My second character here is P, so I'll mention 1 as the position. So let us see the output now here. So is P. Likewise, if you mention the index as 2 or index as 3, it will give you L, and then 4 it will give you E. So this is an important concept to remember. Let's say suppose if you want to print all the character after a certain position. Let's say I want to print everything after P. So P, the first character is 1. So what I will do, I'll put the square bracket here, then mention the position of the first character and then colon. So it will print everything. Okay, but now I want to print only certain character. So to print certain character, we can mention print here, val, square bracket. Suppose you want to print 2 P's here. So 1 colon 2, 1 colon 3. So it's going to print 2 character. So note that this is a bit confusing here. I'm printing only 2 character, 1 colon 3. You might be thinking I should put here 1 colon 2, which is 1 for P and 2 is for another P. But now I have mentioned 3. So basically here 3 denote the number of character from the start position. So here A is 1, 2 and 3. Don't worry if you're getting confused, it's okay. We are going to study in detail in the upcoming session about this slicing and indexing. Let's take another example. I want to print the character before L, all the character before L. So what is the position of L here? Position of L is 3. So I'll mention colon here and 3. So it's going to print all before L. Let us move on to the next concept. Suppose my first name is Steve. My second name is Sam. So I want to print both the name together. So you can put name here equal to first name plus second name. So basically plus is used for joining the two names, which means concatenating the two names. Let's say print name Steve Sam. But this doesn't look nice. I want to have a space here. So to get a space, you can simply put the space here and then plus. So let's see the output now, Steve Sam. Let's say age of Steve Sam is 30-year-old, and now I want to print the age of Steve Sam. So how you can do? Age of. So here I'll put plus here. I'll put the variable name. Then I'll put is. Then I'll put the variable of age. So let us see the output now. So it is giving you some error. Now since we are printing here string, so age should also be a string because 30 is a numeric. So I want to convert 30 into a string. So to convert that, you have to put str. str is a function that converts numbers into string. So the age of Steve Sam is 30. Hello friends, let us now move on to the next item, which is called as Python list. Now this list is the most important data structure in Python programming. If you see here, a list is created by placing all the items inside a square bracket and separated by commas. Okay. It can have any number of items and they may be of different data type. It can be numeric, it can be string, it can be character, it can be boolean. Now here we have some examples like list of integer list 1, 2, 3, 4. It can be a mix of data type. If you see here, 1 is a numeric, high is a character, then 3.4 is a float. Now you can also have a list within the list. Like here, this is a single element list. Now here, this is a multiple element list. So this is a one kind of list, and this is also a single element. Now in the previous sessions, you might have seen how the elements are placed. Now this is one of the example here. Suppose I have a list with 5 elements, which is A, B, C, D and E. So how they are placed inside the element and how they are addressed. So for item A, my index is 0, for item B is 1 and for E is 4. But there might be a case where you might be asked from the reverse side. Now let us see some examples of the list and we will do some programming for that. Okay, my initial list here is nothing, is blank. So let us see, print it. Print, as you know, to execute you have to press Ctrl Enter. Okay, DA underscore languages. So here I am assigning one of the list with the following elements. First is R, Python, SAS, Scala, and if you see we have a number also. So print it. So as expected. Now here we are printing the variable DA underscore language with the help of the index. So 0, what is going to return? The first index is R, so it's going to return R. Likewise, DA language 1 column 3. So 1 mean, so as we have seen in the previous example, the first element start with 0, the second element start with 1. So 1 it will start with Python and print till 3, third element. So 0, 1 and 2. But this is the third element, so it will print Python and says, so execute it as expected. Likewise, you can try this also. -1. So -1 is the reverse order indexing. So -1 means it will be in the 42. So let us see the next example. Print DA language, nothing but start from -3. So R and Python. Now let us see some of the function related to the list. So I have a DA language having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements. Now I want to add one more language like Java. So you have to use append function. Now the pop function is going to remove some of the elements. So if the pop is blank, it's going to remove the last element. Sorry, it's going to remove all the elements except the last element. If pop is 0, it's going to remove the first. It's going to remove the first element. If pop is 1, it's going to remove the second element. So likewise, there's an append function, there's a remove function. You want to remove anything. So let me see. Let's print 2 times. Okay, if you see, when we appended the R, Python Scala 42R, but when we use the remove function, it has already removed the R. But when you are printing, when you are using the function within the print, is going to return nothing. So this is the important point to note here. Now, but if you append separately, is going to print. So Python, Scala, 42, R and Java. If you see the variation here. My variable was new list where I have assigned the DA languages. But on the DA language, I'm appending the Java. So when I print, so what happens is that when I print new list, it is automatically being assigned with the new list. Print new list. See here. So now let us play the list with the strings. Now what happens is that we can convert the string to a list and we can play with the string. Let me give you an example. Suppose you get an email asking for the bank account and like some other fishy emails. So what the Gmail does, I believe you might be having a Gmail account. So what the Gmail does, some of the email it park under the spam folder and some of the email it park under the important folder. How do you think does it happen? It happens with the help of the natural language processing. Now the very first step in the natural language processing is the conversion of string into the list. Okay, let us see some of the example here, and this is a very important concept which you need to practice it so that you can use in further machine learning programming. So I have a sentence. Hi Saf, this is to inform you that I am not well today. So I have assigned a sentence here. Now with the help of the function split, we can split the sentence separated by the comma. Okay, let's see another one. Now suppose, because here we have separated by comma, now suppose you want to do the split on the full stop. Let's see. Now here you see in my example, hi Saf. So I have one sentence here and I have a second sentence here and I have a third sentence here. So what it does is it converts this sentence into a list where the sentences are separated by the full stop. So this is my example here. Likewise, if you want to join these sentences with the help of any parameter, my here parameter is blank. So let us see what is the output here. Now the sentence has been joined, but the parameter is blank. Suppose another example, if the parameter you want it and any other parameter like here ampersand. So let's see here. Okay. If you see my sentences are now joined with the help of the ampersand. Now you want to print number of times, so you can use it into 5, so it's printing 5 times. You want to print, now there is another way to print. You can just add up here, hi, so list here. Now let us play with some numbers. Let's say suppose I have a number with this. So what is the length of the number? You can use 6. You can use a sorted function. You can use max function. You can use minimum function. Now we have seen in the slide that we can have a list within the list, which is known as a nested list. So let's see. So what I have done here is, now again the lists are also represented by the index. So this list, the first list is represented by index 0. The second list 5, 6, 7 is addressed by index 1, and the last one is index 2. So when I am printing the first index, so it's printing basically the second one. Let us now move on to the next topic, which is tuples. The tuples are almost similar to the list, but the difference between the two is the tuple cannot be changed and the list can be changed. If you want to change the tuple, you have to convert the tuple into the list and then you can change it. So tuple is actually created in a very similar manner to the list. However, the element should be placed inside the parenthesis, and while for the list you are placing inside the square bracket. Okay, but the parentheses are also an optional, but it is always recommended to use the parentheses, so it's easier to differentiate between the tuple and other data type. Now there are certain advantages of tuple over the list. The first advantage of tuple is that it is usually used for storing the multiple data type, but the lists are used for similar data type. However, lists can still be used for storing the multiple data type, but when it comes to the real world programming, tuples are usually used for the multiple data type. The second advantage is that the programming with tuple gives a very high performance. The reason being is that tuple cannot be changed and the memory allocated to tuple is always fixed. Now let us do some programming on the tuple. Okay, my first tuple here is my variable. If you see the element in the list, the first is a name, second is a numeric, third is also something like address, and 5.8 is the float. So let me print. Okay, it's print the first name. If you see, the function and the behavior is almost like a list. If I want to print everything, so I can just put print first tuple. Okay, city tuple. Now here, this is the information of a city with latitude and longitude. Because there are certain scenarios, of course, the latitude and longitude of a city cannot be changed. So it is always advisable to store such kind of information within the tuple. City tuple. Now the tuple can be assigned to the new variable, which is new tuple here. You can print also. But let us see what happens is that if you want to change the tuple. You see, when I try to change the tuple, the Python is not really happy and it shows this message. And the error, if you see, the error is that object does not support the item assignment because the tuple cannot be changed. But there are ways where you can change the elements in the tuple. The way to do is the assignment. You can convert the tuple into the list and then you can change the list. But the original tuple itself, it cannot be changed. Let's see the example here. Now I am assigning a variable b with some of the variable. So when I print b, it gives me Mumbai and the second element, and the length of this element is 2. Now I can convert, now basically this is the list. Now I can convert these 2 elements into the list and into tuple. Let's see how to do it. If you see here, I can assign directly the new variable list b. So my elements in the b is Mumbai and this one, and then I can similarly I can convert the same element Mumbai and the second element into the tuple. Okay. So now let's see once we come to the list how we can do the how we can change the list. So what I will do, I will assign a new variable c1 and then I will convert the element b. So b is having the two element Mumbai, and this one will convert into the list c1. So let's print c1 Mumbai, and then now I can do append 20, and let's print c1 again. And if you see, now we have appended the list. Hello friends, till now you have gone through some of the Python data type, starting with the basic programming, followed by the Python list, then tuples, and now we will go through another important data type known as the Python dictionary. From the term dictionary, you can understand that we are talking about a certain key and their synonym. So this Python dictionary is actually represented by a key value pair. So like in the list and tuple, we were storing only the elements like name, age, or date of birth. But in the Python dictionary, we are going to store the actual key and its value. So suppose a person named John is having an age of 25 and date of birth 25 January 1985. So how we are going to store? We are going to store something like this. So this dictionary is actually represented by a curly bracket. Okay, and then name followed by the actual value, gender followed by actual value. So this is called as key and this is called as value. These are some of the important functions being used for the Python dictionary that we will go through in detail. And now let us do some programming. So let us now do some programming for dictionary, Python dictionary. So this is the first is my empty dictionary. So let us see what is the data type of this one. So it shows the class dictionary. So now let us store some information about a person. His name is John, 27 is age, his height is 5.6 feet and hobby is golf. So let us see how we can store as a dictionary. So if you print this variable biodata, you will get this information. So now we can fetch a particular value from this one. So let us see how to fetch. So I want to fetch a hobby. So what I'm going to do is biodata, just mention the key name here, which is a hobby. So let us print. So his hobby is golf. So what is the age? We can also print the age here. Another way to retrieve the value is the function get function, get age. But the good thing with the get function is that suppose there is a key which is not available inside the original dictionary. So what happens is that you can actually mention a default value. So I'm trying to fetch a value address, and if it is not found here, it's going to default New York. This is how. But now if you see here, if I try to fetch, so the name is wrong, let's say address, let's try again. So address is New York. But suppose if you try to fetch address something like if I mention the address here, so it's going to throw the error because there is no key like address. So that is where we have to use the get function. Now if you want to replace or update the value, you can simply mention the key for which you need to update and mention the value. what is the updated value. So my age is 36. If you see, initially my age was around 27. It was 27. Now age is 36. Age is 36. Likewise, we can add here. So what I'm doing here, I'm trying to update address, but it's not fine, so it will add up. You see the address is added up. Suppose you want to see whether the key is available in the dictionary. What you can do is you can mention something like this: print address in biodata is going to return true. Suppose if I change the address 1 in biodata, false, because there is no address 1. We can also get the list. So it's going to list down the keys: name, age, height, hobby, and address. Likewise, it can also list down the actual values. So John, 36, golf, and yeah. Sometimes this two combination is quite useful while doing reporting, where you want to fetch only one column, but you want to fetch the multiple rows. It's like a CSV file. Let us see. I want to add a new dictionary. So I'll print has been added, country is France, songs I love Paris. So we can update here. So what happened is that this new dictionary is actually added up in the biodata dictionary. You can see the values here and key here. Now let us have one more dictionary, which is employee data. So what I'm doing here is that I'm having a key and then I'm having a value as a list. If you see, my key is 101, but it is having a list with name and age of the employee. 102 is another key, and my list is Chin, name is Chin, and age is 26. Likewise, 104, my name is Sharma and age is 22. So when I print this, I get output something like this, the key value pair. Let us see the count of employees, which is 5 employees we are having. So what is the list values? We are having name and age as the values in the list. Now I want to add a new employee. How can I add? I can add a key here and values here, so it will add up into the employee data dictionary. So when I print, I get a 106 as a new key and the values. If I want to delete, so you can simply type a del function, and whatever data you want to delete, you can key in the actual key. So when I print it, so there is no more 102 here. Hello friend, now let us go through another data type in the Python, which is known as the sets. A set is actually an unordered collection of items, and every element in a set is unique and must be immutable. Till now we have gone through the data type like list, tuple, and dictionary. The list, each element in the list are actually addressed by an index. In tuple also each element is addressed by an index, but in the dictionary each element is addressed by a key. So there we study the key value pair. But in the case of sets, there is no property for the position, as it is an unordered collection of the elements. So usually the sets are used where suppose you want to find the duplicates. So let us now do some programming and we will go through in more details. Now let us try to understand the set in more detail with the help of some basic programming. Now I have a variable employee in which I am storing certain list of values. So here I have 3 Ks, 1 Z, 1 Q, and 2 R. So when I print employee, it gives the list of this employee. I can convert this list into the set by using the set function. Now let us see the output here. If you see the output, the duplicates has been removed. So now I have a gen, k, q and r. Now you see here the output is also an unordered. So this jet can appear anytime or anywhere. It doesn't matter. So what is the type? The type is set. Let me create a second set. So now we can use some high school concept: intersection, union, and differences. So intersection is going to give you a common values, which is k and r is common in both the sets. K and r is here, and k and r is here. Union is going to remove the duplicates and is going to give the combination of two sets. And differences is going to give only the difference of value, which is a q and z. Let us now move on to the next session, which is the control structure in Python. The control structure is the most important concept in any programming language, and it is usually considered as the backbone of the program. So we will cover the following in this section. The first is if-else condition, loops, function, map, filter, and reduce. So let us start with the if-else condition. So usually when do we use if-else condition? When we have to make some important decision. For example, if somebody asks you, does the sun rises from the east? And you will say yes. So this is one of the condition and the output. Now this if-else condition can be written in various format. The first format is if the condition is satisfied, so the output is 1. If not satisfied, nothing. Second format is if else. If condition 1 is satisfied, output 1, otherwise output 0. The third format is if condition 1 is satisfied, output 1, if condition 2 is satisfied, output 2, and else output 0. So this is a 3 format, and we can have also nested if, means under one if condition we can have if else condition. So let us now make our hand dirty and see the actual program for this. So let's write some program for the if else condition. So the first is, so weight is one of the variable, and I'm going to input one of the value. So let us execute, control enter. So now enter your weight. So let's me enter 55 kilogram, 55, and enter. So now this variable is having the value as 55. My second variable is under, which is 40, and over, which is 90. So we are having 3 variables, and note that in the weight our variable is a input. It is asking for the value from the user. So we have this input as one of the function where it will ask the value. Okay, let's see the second cell. Now here we are having 3 if condition. Okay, so first condition is if weight is greater or equal to over. You carefully note the format here. If weight greater or equal to over, then we have a colon, print you are overweight. So the value of weight here is 55 and over is 90. So this is not going to print. Likewise, here we are having if weight is greater or equal to under and weight less than over. So what do you think is going to print? Yes, it is going to print because it satisfies this condition. And likewise, the last condition is not going to print. So our output should be you have average weight. So as expected. Let us write the second if condition. So now here we are making a use of elif condition. If the first condition is not satisfied, this Python compiler is going to look into the second condition. If this condition is not satisfied, it is going to look into the third, fourth, and finally, if none of them is satisfied, it is going to look for else. So let's see, execute it. So under, because it satisfies this condition. Let us see another example. Okay, let us see the another conditions. my statement here, now this is a string. Statement is movie is bad. So now we can find out if the string bad is in the statement. If it is available, so it will give you, it will satisfy the condition. Otherwise it will now we have a second example where the statement 2 is movie is awesome. If bad in the statement, this is not a bad review. So basically what we are trying to find out, the how is the review of the movie, the feedback of the movie. So let us execute this statement. Okay, bad review is as expected. So such kind of programming is usually used in the natural language processing, which we are going to see later on. Okay, my third condition, I think this you can try yourself. It will ask for the number 3 and execute. Now here if you see, now this is called a nested if else condition. So now I have one if here. Again you have to carefully note the format of the programming. Now first if condition and the else part of if is here. Now within this two there is another if else. So this is called as nested. 3. So enter number 3. This is the odd divided by 3. Let us now move on to another control structure, and very important is the loops. So first we will go through for loop. The for loop is used to iterate over a certain sequence until the condition is satisfied. Usually this for loop is used over a sequence like list, tuple, etc. to identify the value among the values. So the format for the for loop is as mentioned here. So we have to start with for. Value is one of the variable in sequence. So this sequence is also a variable, but it contains a list of numbers. And then we have to do some calculation. So the variable value will take number from sequence and the control goes to some calculation. Under some calculation, you have to write some program and then it will execute till the value comes to the last. The next one is the while loop. The while loop is used to iterate in the block of code until the condition is satisfied. This while loop is usually used when we don't know how much iteration is to be taken care of. So in this case, this while loop will keep on executing the code until the condition is satisfied. So here we have a format, while condition. So while condition is any condition, if it is true, only then some calculation is going to happen, and it will keep on happening until the while condition is satisfied. So the body, some calculation of the while loop is determined through indentation. So this is an important thing which you need to note, and you have to remember while doing the programming. So my first for loop program is here. For, start with for I is some variable in range. Now range is a function which will give you a range of values. So let's see what does it print. So our range is having 0 to 10. So it gives the list of 10 numbers starting from 0. So this range is very useful when it comes to the sequence, because in the actual real-time Python programming you cannot write the sequence of numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, as it's not advisable. So in that case the range is used. Now other format for range is the start number, this is the end number, and this is the number by which it should jump. So let's see. So my start number is 0, last number is 10, so it should jump by 2. So start with 0, then 2, 4, 6 and 8. Okay, so let's see how does the loop behave when we have a string as a variable. So my string jingle bell all the way, and then alphabet is one of the variable in my string, print alphabet. So what it's going to do is, the Python programming is quite intuitive to understand that this variable alphabet is looking for the each letters, and so it's going to print each letter here. So you see Jingle, if there is a space, it's going to print space also. Okay, now this is the structure we will try to print. So let's say S1 is one of the variable. Let's assign it as a blank. Now I is another variable, and we're going to use the range from 0 to 9. If I is less than 5, so we are going to add the star here, print star. If I is more than 4, then we are going to print star in descending order. Let's see. So this is my output. Now let us assign another variable string with jingle bell all the way. So here we are using enumerate function. So what it's going to do is going to return 2 outputs. So let's see, for n letter in enumerate string 1. So what it's going to do is we're going to print the indexes along with the actual letter. So you see the output here. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 is my index, and Jingle is my letter in the word jingle. So these are some of the important concepts which we are going to use in the natural language processing, and this is used, and this is how it is most of the systems are using Python for the fraud detection. Like you might have noticed that some of your emails, if you are having a Gmail account, some of the email go to the spam folder. This is how they do actually. Let's say if you want to find out the vowels, how we can do it here is we define a variable vowel, and then letter is a variable, string 1 is already having a value jingle bell here, and then if letter, so this letter variable is going to scan through all the letters, actual letters in the string 1, and if it finds any of the letter matching this one, A, E, I, O, U, is going to add up in the vowel. So we have output. Let's play with some numbers. I have a variable n, and I assign any random number here. I want to, out of this random number, I want to find which number is even and which is odd. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scan through all the numbers here. So that is why I'm writing for I in n. Okay. Now in the first loop, int I, so here is a mod here, int I will return 8, mod of 2, 0. So this is obviously a even number. So I will pass this value 8 into the variable even, as it will be odd. So in my second iteration, I will be having 7. So this condition will fail and it will go to odd. The third condition is 0. This condition will be satisfied and it will go into even. So likewise, this iteration will repeat until 7. So let's see my output here. As expected. Now we can play with some list also. We have a list of inventories: apple, banana, potato, mango, onion, and toothpaste. Then out of this list, we'll separate into fruits and vegetables. So now my objective is to find the count of fruit and the count of vegetables. So this is how the program is good. There it is. Likewise, we have some other programming. So here we are playing with the string here. So what we are doing here, this is a variable of the word. We are splitting this one into different sentence. I'm sorry, different words. So it's going to print the word here. Let's see what's going to return. So here also we are splitting this one into beautiful morning. It is looking good. If words start with hash, so what is this condition is, if the word start with hash, only then is going to print, otherwise not. So here we have a dictionary. I think you can do, I will leave it to you. You can try at your home. So let's see one example of a while loop. So here I have a variable start 20, total is 0. So while start is less than 51, total variable is going to have the start as a variable. So it will keep on adding one value until the start value is more than 51. So I'm going to print, see, start with 21 until 51, and at last is going to print the total. Comprehension is actually an elegant way of writing a loop in a statement. So basically the output of the comprehension is also the list, the range of sequence in the list. So let us see the old format of writing for loop and the new format for writing for loop with the help of comprehension. Now this is the old format that we have learned just now, how to write the for loop. Now in the new format, you can write this statement in a single line. So expression I for I in old list. So let us do some programming to have a better understanding of this. So here I am declaring an empty list here, list 1, which is an empty, and then I am trying to populate this list 1 with the square of numbers, a line between 0 to 9. So here my range is from 0 to 9. So my output is 1, 4 square of numbers. Okay. So we can, so now the second way of writing the list is x square. So for each x in the range 1 to 10 is going to return the output as a x square. So this is an comprehension way of writing. So output is same. So basically the only difference is in the programming. Here we have written a same program in 2 lines of code, and same program we are writing in 1 line of code. So this is a more elegant way. So let us play with strings. So I have a variable para having the list of sentence. There was a tree, the tree was in the valley. Now I am declaring an empty list of word list. So here I am having 2 for loop. For sentence in para, so first variable sentence will iterate through the sentence. So I am having 3 sentences here, 1, 2, 3. Now the second for loop, the variable word will iterate through each sentence and each word of a sentence. So in the first iteration, the variable sentence will have the value there was a tree, and the variable word will have there was a tree as a 3 different word. And then list of word is my empty list where these words will be added up. So likewise the sentence will iterate through the second and third, and inside each sentence the word will iterate through each word of this sentence and each word of this sentence. So at the end my output will be the list of words in all the sentences. So this is as expected. Let us see how we can write this program with the help of comprehension. So here I am having a for loop inside a for loop. So let us write a complex program. So here I am having a vowel having A, E, I, O, U as a list. So vowels from sentence, this is an empty. So what I am going to do, this sentence will iterate through the each sentence in the para list, and my word is going to iterate through each sentence, each word in a sentence. Now if word 0, so basically the first character of the word, and if it is a lower, it lies in A, E, I, O, U. So it's going to populate the vowels from sentence list with the first letter of the word, which is a vowel. So output will be A, E, I, O. If you want to see the word, just move this index 0 and execute A, E, I, O. So let us see an example of a dictionary. The only difference between the dictionary and the list is the key value pair. So here my output will be key and value. So key is num and num square 2 is a value. So the for loop sentence, the for loop program sentence is same. So output will be key value pair. So rest of the program here you can try yourself. Function is the most important aspect of any programming language. It does a task and it returns the result as the output to be used for some other task in a program. Basically, a function helps to maintain the code modularity, and the entire code maintenance is very easy. Usually the code in the real life projects are very long, and there are multiple team members working on a code. So with the help of function, a particular team member can write his own code and another member can write his own code, and at the end of the day all the codes from all the members can be merged together with the help of the function. So that is where the function comes as a very helpful feature in any programming language. Now if you see here, we have two kinds of format for the function. The first format, there is no return, and second format is a return as an output. So Python function is usually denoted by the word def, the name of the function, and in the enclosing bracket there can be parameter or it can be a blank, and then colon, which denotes the end of the header. Then we have some statements where you can write your own set of code. In the second format, both are same, the only difference is the output. So let us do some program now. Let us now go through some special functions, which is map, reduce and filter. So basically map is a function that works as like a list comprehension and for loop. It is used when you need to map or implement function on various elements of the list at the same time. Filter, on the other hand, will do the work of the filter, which is, if you know SQL, where we are using filter condition, and it is going to return the output where the filter condition is satisfied. Reduce, on the other hand, is an option that breaks down the entire process into a smaller and smaller pairwise operation and use the result from each operation with the successive element. So we will come to know in more detail when we do the programming. So this is my first function. So here, if you remember, our function is denoted by def, is a keyword, and first underscore function is the name of the function, and inside the function we are doing some calculation or just some code. So here my first function is having no parameter and is end by colon, and here first function I am calling to execute. Now here if you see, there are two portions. First we are creating the function, and second we are calling the function. So hi there. Let us write the next function. So here I am assigning the variable x equal to 0, and then I am creating a function def fhello x equal to 3 print x. So what it will do, it will overwrite the variable 0 with 3 and it will return the function. So in earlier program you might have encountered some function like lower, split, length, etc. So actually these are the inbuilt Python function. So likewise inbuilt Python function, we can build our own function. So let us see, now here I'm trying to build my function which will give the square of any number. If you see here, I'm passing the parameter number. I'll pass any number here as a parameter. Then output I'm assigning to a variable out, which is going to do a square and return out. Okay. So when I execute my query, so it has created the function. So I'm going to call this function in another cell. So the way of calling is square 5. So 25. Just replace the 5 with 10, it will return 100. So basically my function is ready, and this function you can use anywhere in your program. Now let us write another complex function which will give the factorial of any number. So factorial, you know what is the factorial? Factorial of 5 is what? 5. Factorial of 5 is given by, I think this is a high school mathematics. 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So factorial of 5 is 120. Okay. Now this factorial, we are going to create a function for this factorial. So what it will do, we are passing a parameter n as a parameter where we can pass any number for the factorial. If n is greater than 1, is going to return n factorial n minus 1, as it will return n. So here I am passing the fact is my variable. I am passing the number 5. So what it will do, it will go inside and it will return the variable 120. Now if you see carefully here, I am calling a function inside a function. So first I am creating a function factorial n, and then I am multiplying the number n with factorial another function which is factorial. I am passing the parameter n minus 1. Okay. So what will happen, it will keep on calling itself until this condition is satisfied. So that is why internally it is going to calculate like this: 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. I hope you're getting my point here. Okay, now where there are some situation where your parameter can have multiple numbers, or we don't know how many numbers will be in the parameter. So what we can do, we can create a parameter with star, starting with a star. So this is one of a function which will return the sum of the argument or sum of the parameter which will pass. So first I'm creating the function here. Now here I'm trying to call the function addition, and I'm passing around 6 parameters, and if I call this one, it is going to return the sum of these numbers. So I'm calling 2 times. So this is the output from the first call, which is print addition. So first it is printing the arguments as it is defined in the function print argument, and the second is 39. So my output is sum of the argument, which is at 39. Let us now go through some special functions, which is map, reduce and filter. So basically map is a function that works as like a list comprehension and for loop. It is used when you need to map or implement function on various elements of the list at the same time. Filter, on the other hand, will do the work of the filter, which is, if you know SQL, where we are using filter condition, and it is going to return the output where the filter condition is satisfied. Reduce, on the other hand, is an option that breaks down the entire process into a smaller and smaller pairwise operation and use the result from each operation with the successive element. So we will come to know in more detail when we do the programming. Let us first go through the map function. So here I am defining a variable which is a list of 3 numbers, first underscore list 2, 4, 5, control enter, and then let us try to print the output of map. So here in the map we have to use a lambda function. So what the lambda function does, it is the input parameter is x and it will read the value from the first list, and the first list is having 2, 4, 5 as a number, and the output will be the square. So what it will do, first x will be 2, so my output will be 4, second will be 16, and third will be 25. So my output will be also be the list. So here we have an error. Actually we have to use the list. So my output is also a list 4, 16, 25. Now the same logic can be written in a different way, which is by using function def square written add, and then when we print the list and map it, so 4, 16, 25. So here what we are doing here is that in the square it function we are passing the parameter first list, the values from the first list. So it is going to map each value from the first list into square it function, and then it is going to return the output which is the square of each element in the list 4, 16, 25. Let us see the another way of writing. So we are having 2 lists here. Now I want to return a third list which is the sum of these 2 lists. So how we can do by lambda function. So here I am having 2 variables x and y, which is actually a function which is actually a sum of x and y. So we are passing 2 parameter, 2 list as a parameter, sum list 2, and my output will also be the list, the sum of the 2. Let us see a function with the string as an element. So I am having 2 famous names, Nikola, James, Albert, and then I have a Tesla, Watt, Einstein as the last name. So I want to join these 2, Nikola, Tesla, James, Watt, Albert, and Einstein, and the first letter of the name should be capital. So here I am using a lambda function, lambda x and y. So x0 means it is going to return the first letter of the word Nikola, upper, it will convert to upper, plus x1 colon. So it's going to read all the string character starting from the first. So basically if it is Nikola, n will be capital because x0 upper is making it capital, and IKAOLA will be dealt in x1 colon. Same way y0, and my output will be finally Nikola, Tesla, Jensen. This is what we are expecting. Let us see the filter. The filter, the compilation and the work of filter is almost similar to the map function. It is just that it is going to return the output which satisfies the condition. So here I am trying to divide by 3. If it is divisible by 3, it will return the num elements, otherwise it will not return the element. So I am having a list, my underscore list, which is having 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 as the list of number. So what I am going to do, I am going to use the filter condition. The filter condition here is the element should be divisible by 3. Only then it will pass, it will return as true, otherwise false. So 3, 6, 9. So my 4, 5, 7 and 8 are not printed because they are not divisible by 3, and that does not satisfy the filter condition. Now there is another filter where I am going to print all those values which are greater than 3. So I am using lambda function here, lambda. So it is going to return the x only if it is greater than 3. So my output here, I am filter, an M list. So I'm supplying the M list into M filter, and my output will be the numbers greater than 3, which is 4 and 5. Okay, reduce. So reduce here, what it will do, it will take the output of one iteration into as an input in the another iteration. So first of all, reduce is part of the library func tool. So here we are going to import. I think you are encountering first time. So these are the inbuilt library in Anaconda, and I'm importing a function reduce from the func tool. So I'm going to have a range. So this range is going to return 1, 2 and 3. So what I'm going to do, I'm adding up the value. So here x will give me the current value, the x will give me the total value, and y will give me the current value. So here y is adding x plus y. So initially my x will be 0 and y will be 1, because range is 1 to 4. I think in the previous, let's see the previous here. Somewhere we have written a range function, the loop. Okay, if you see here, let's copy this one. Okay, my range is 1, 2, 3. So the first one, my y will be having 0 plus 1, y will be having 1. In the second iteration, x will be 2 and y will be 1, so 3. In the third iteration, x will be 3 and y will be 3, so 6. So output will be 6.